So, we've just watched The Room with Tommy Wiseau, free underwear cards, isn't it?
What are your thoughts?
Just... What were your thoughts? What the fuck? Hello and welcome to Love Hate Films, a show all about films good, bad, and today, fucking terrible.
Indeed, very ugly.
Yeah. As you may have seen in the intro, we are reviewing The Room.
Indeed, we are. So the Room.
Yeah, just a little bit of a close up there for you guys. Just
What do you say about The Room?
what do you say about? Yeah, that's what we say about it. You know what? If we had a lighter, it would be burnt. Quite frankly.
Well, we wouldn't, because it's not ours. We borrowed it from good old Simon.
Good old Simon.
Thank you.
Yeah, but directed by Tommy Wiseau. Now, for those of you familiar with the good old Little Britain sketch, wrote the theme tune,
Oh yeah.
starred in the theme tune. Oh, just it was terrible.
Terrible is an understatement.
I mean, I must apologise first of all because it's hard, isn't it? It's very, very hard to even begin. So, made in 2003, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is not a new film at all. It's been going for 14? Oh, hold on, 2003.
15 years.
15 years now. 15 years. The reason it's so terrible.
It's listed as one of the worst films of all time. That's what it's famous for. It's got a cult following of people that absolutely love it and still go to the cinema to see it.
Yeah, particularly in LA. I mean, they still have midnight screenings. They still have, like actual sort of film events.
Yeah.
Where people go. They dress up a little bit like, Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
In a way.
They've just done a film about it. James Franco's done it. What's it called?
The Disaster Artist, which we may do a review on it in future. It seems as if it might be good for a giggle.
And they've done it about this film. Now, after watching it, I do not know why it's got a cult following. I really don't, because it is bad, but it's not that. It's not the sort of bad where you think, oh, it's bad, it's good. It's just bad.
It's just plain bad, and it's been quoted as the Citizen Kane of bad movies.
It's not that at all. It's just terrible.
But if you think about it, this is the profound thing. There are bad films out there. We this is why we do what we do. But you don't go and see them all. If somebody said, oh, I saw this, not worth a watch, it's fucking terrible. Yeah. You wouldn't give it a second thought. Whereas people say, you need to watch this, it's terrible. And then you sort of go, well, why would I want to watch it? It's terrible. No. You need to watch it.
Yeah.
It's terrible. And still, even films with the best of cult followings, I mean, even things like, I know, Lebowski, for example, that founded Dudism.
Yeah, but that is good. That's a good film. And
it founded a religion around it. But this, from actually being a piece of shit, quite frankly, managed to almost get like this messiah sort of bringing in of the masses in terms of everybody tuning in to just what is a pile of shit.
Yeah, I don't get it. It is just terrible.
Yeah,
from start to finish.
I mean, there were a couple of points in it, just to pick out a couple of favourites. I mean, you were saying about the channeling Marlon Brando.
Yeah, so his acting. Lisa, tearing me apart. You can see why people ridicule it, and you can see that there are bits which is worthy of mockery, but not to the extent to give it a cult following. It's just bad. Once you've watched it, you don't need to watch it again because it's terrible, and yeah, you might find yourself quite a line from it every so often, but that's just because it's terrible. It doesn't deserve a cult following, I don't think. Maybe I'm not getting it, maybe I'm missing the point, but I just did not like it. It's bad, let's leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's funny you're on about the... So, Tearing Me Apart, Lisa, is as good a backdrop as I can give. It's a little bit of a love triangle story. You have the protagonist, Johnny, who lives in San Francisco. Now, they had the creme de la creme of shots. San Francisco Bay is a beautiful, beautiful place. You have Alcatraz, you've got the Golden Gate Bridge, you've got the tram systems, you know, these lovely famous houses, the hills, and even in films, you think you've had The Rock, which has been filmed predominantly around there. You've had Mrs. Doubtfire, which huge on the San Francisco streets in the early 90s. Beautiful, beautiful place. But they decided to use closed sets.
Yeah. Well, maybe they couldn't get a license to film on the street.
Well, maybe they couldn't, but then I have heard that Tommy Wiseau, as a director, who his origins are slightly unknown, needless to say.
He says he's an American, which fair play. He is. He lives there.
Oh, he's an American, friend. He is. I am American. Yes. You're tearing me apart. He basically, his accent, and he has confirmed that he is from Europe. At one point, his quote is, quote unquote, "I'm from Europe, but I'm American. I lived in New Orleans." Maybe he has got a little bit of Cajun sort of, you know, tinge about him, but there's something very odd. He looks, oh my God, his face.
Yeah, he's had way too much surgery.
A little bit of a mix of like the Crow mixed with a Cabbage Patch Kid. It's quite dooming.
It is weird looking, yeah, full on.
Yeah, and it was, and even his age. He said that it was made in 03. And we do recommend. In fact, no, we don't recommend.
I don't recommend watching it. No, not at all. I'm never going to watch it again. That's for sure. I'd like to say I don't get the cult following. But if you like it, good on you. Fair play to you. I will probably never forget ever seeing it. So that must be something good about that.
If nothing else, a simple a simple Google search. Search Tommy Wiseau. Search images, Tommy Wiseau. In fact, you know, image nicely here. Tommy Wiseau. Is this the face of a 21-year-old man?
No.
No. No, it's not.
He said he was when he filmed it. But he clearly wasn't.
Who the fuck's name was he trying to kid on?
I don't know.
Honestly, he looks like rigor mortis has already set in around, you know, the bottom parts of his lips, but the rest of his face is...
That does flow through into his acting as well, rigor mortis.
Yeah.
That flows into all of their acting, rigor mortis. They're all terrible.
And speaking of stiff things, we've got to say it's definitely a thumbs down for the best 45 minutes of softcore porn.
Yeah, what's that all about? I don't get that either.
In which he decides to make love to...
Wasn't even good for softcore porn.
Yeah, he decides to make love to her navel region. You know, there's a little bit of odd stuff going on, needless to say, isn't there?
It's not right.
It's gratuitous, you know, top of his arse crack and top of his dick scenes, and it's just, there's some things that
it just don't
are left best to the imagination, if your imagination indeed wants to take you there. Ours personally doesn't, so it's a thumbs down on that front, Tommy. Just keep it to yourself. Keep it in your... In fact, you know where to keep
the
it?
film to yourself.
You know where to keep your fetid fucking penis? Keep it in your underwear brand.
Yeah.
No shit, the guy even plugs
his own underwear.
And I don't know if we're going to get this shot, but even down to... It's not Calvin Klein.
No.
Although, ironically, you think of a Back to the Future scenario, it could almost be a little bit of a throw-in.
It could be, you never know.
But my big question, why is it famous now?
I don't know. Who knows?
I've got my own theories.
Go on in.
The man himself is actually a psychologist. Believe it or not, this film was also funded $6 million. Nobody knows the true source of the funds. He's never ever confirmed this. It was shot, and he's confirmed this in the interviews in two formats, 35mm and in HD. Just, you know, almost everything was there. All of the formula for making a film. It's almost like making a cake, but then you haven't quite got all the ingredients, and you're a bit sloppy in terms of your morphology. In fact, you're very sloppy. You just end up making the worst burnt piece of shit cake. But nonetheless, you had all the fantastic ingredients to make it with. You had the best premium range flour, the best, free range eggs or whatever.
What's your point?
The point is that he made something that was very, very deliberately shit.
Right.
Now,
so you think he
all
made
this time later,
rubbish on purpose?
Yeah, and even what he channels. I mean, we've been on about the whole Marlon Brando thing, Rebel Without a Cause. It's a shot for shot. So what he does is he throws these fantastic little cheeky moments in, but then he's beyond a clue himself. It's just the oddest thing. Maybe, is he the luckiest man alive, or is he the smartest fucker that ever lived?
I don't think he's the smartest one that ever lived. No, definitely not. I don't think he made it on purpose that bad. I think he tried to do something, it failed dismally, and people laugh at other people's misfortune. So that's probably why it's got some fame.
And, I mean, just to even speculate, go into a little bit more why it's bad, some famously bad bits. There was the cancer scene, of course.
Oh yeah, her mum, Lisa's mum, all of a sudden just goes, "Oh, and by the way, I have got breast cancer."
Nobody wants to help me, and I'm dying.
You're not dying, Mom.
I got the results of the test back. I definitely have breast cancer.
Great, and then they never ever mention it again in the whole film. What's that all about?
Although, I mean, we watched this off an evening, and it was just a bit of an after work scenario, wasn't it? And I must admit, it was a bugger. Pete's not long had a newborn, and trying to keep him down. Us giggling at certain little bits might not have helped.
Probably not. No.
Sort of working man, family life and all that. But yeah, what was the bits that made us giggle? There was the infamous tribute to Snatch, the the Desert Eagle scene.
Oh, right, yeah. So they've got a really fake, horrible BB gun that's meant to be a proper gun, and it's like you can see replica down the side. So that was a bit rubbish. Yeah,
there's a scene to do with maybe a botched drug deal, for which, I tell you what, if I was a drug dealer, quite honestly, I'd be quite happy with the time frame provided. There's a few shots into it. They mention it a few times. Where's my money? Where's my money? I'm getting it in 5 minutes. Surely, if you're a patient drug dealer, I know you might have a schedule, you'd wait 5 minutes. But no, later on he comes back with a fucking piece. When I say a piece, I mean it takes plastic BB bullets that, I'm sure many of you have had a little bit of a silly moment shooting each other in the arse with. I don't know. But the point is, it's going to make no more of a hole in this man's head as much as a flick is going to shatter Pete's knee there. It was fucking awful.
It was terrible.
It was seriously awful. And what's more, never mentioned about again. So
That's
why?
something else, yeah. What's the point of that?
He owed money to a drug dealer, but
then that's the end of that.
Yeah.
So that pretty much just sums up the whole film, and that was the end of that. I don't advise watching it, but if curiosity gets the better of you, fair play to you. I give this easily 1 out of 10, and I don't get the whole cult following either. Didn't like it, won't watch it again, but probably will remember watching it.
Now, I'm going to go into new territory because I feel this is warranted. Of course, where do we stand on the scale of love and hate? We stand respectively 0 to 10.
Yeah, definitely 8.
I'm going to go into the minus factor here. You know what? We in the UK, we just had the Beast from the East. We're used to minus stuff at the moment, deficit, just everything. So just minus. It was a terrible film. Watch it for sheer curiosity, but whatever you do, don't try and invest your time because it's just not worth it. You'll want your life back.
Yeah.
We certainly do.
I definitely missed that hour.
But as I say, coming at you soon, we are going to be doing a review. I feel it's time for therapy almost.
Okay. What do you want to review?
I feel like we should review The Last Jedi.
Uh-oh. That's not going to go down well either.
Well, I don't know. Where's my mate? Where's BB-8? Okay, we've lost him. It shows how pro we are. Oh no, he's down there.
Yeah, never.
Oh well, bye BB-8. BB-8 can make a cameo in the next one. There you go. But for now, it is goodbye from me, friend. Ha Ah.
Thank you for your time.